make sure to subscribe our channel to show us your support. About the exam name is Microsoft Azure Data Fundamentals. This is a multiple choice exam with a total of 40 to 60 questions that you need to complete in 60 minutes. You need to get a score of 700 out of 1000 to pass this exam. To the questions. Question 1. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, statement. The Azure Cosmos DB -API enables the use of select statements to retrieve documents from Azure Cosmos DB. Our options are Core SQL, Gremlin, MongoDB, or Table. The correct option is Core SQL. Azure Cosmos DB SQL API accounts provide support for querying items using the structured query language syntax. Question 2. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, statement. A dash is a chart of colored rectangles. The size of the rectangles represent the relative value of each item. The chart can be hierarchical, displaying data as a set of rectangles nested within the main rectangle. Our options are line chart, matrix, scatter, or tree map. The correct option is tree map. A tree map chart divides the chart area into rectangles that represent the different levels and relative sizes of the data hierarchy. Question 3. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, statement. In batch processing, our options are data is always inserted one row at a time, data is processed in real time, latency in delivering data processing results is acceptable, processing can only execute serially. The correct answer is latency in delivering data processing results is acceptable. You might expect latencies when using batch processing. For many situations, however, this type of delay before the transfer of data begins is not a big issue. The process that use these functions are not mission critical at the exact moment. Question 4. Which type of database contains nodes and edges? Our options are A. Graph, B. Key/value, C. Columnar, or D. Time series. The correct option is A. Graph. A graph database stores two types of information, nodes and edges. Edges specify relationships between nodes. Nodes and edges can have properties that provide information about that node or edge, similar to columns in a table. Edges can also have a direction indicating the nature of the relationship. Question 5. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, a relational database is appropriate for scenarios that involve a high volume of. Our options are changes to relationships between entities, geographically distributed rights, transactional rights, rights that have varying data structures. The correct option is transactional rights. Disadvantages of non-relational databases include data consistency. Non-relational databases do not perform ACID transactions. Note, relational databases are optimized for writes. They are optimized for consistency and availability. Advantages of relational databases include simplicity, ease of data retrieval, data integrity, and flexibility. Question 6. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, dash is an object associated with a table that sorts and stores the data rows in the table based on their key values. Our options are a clustered index, a file table, a foreign key, a stored procedure. The correct option is a clustered index. Clustered indexes sort and store the data rows in the table or view based on their key values. These are the columns included in the index definition. There can only be one clustered index per table because the data rows themselves can be stored in only one order. Question 7. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, the massively parallel processing engine of Azure Synapse Analytics. Our options are distributes processing across compute nodes, distributes processing across control nodes, redirects client connections across compute nodes, redirects client connections across control nodes. The correct option is distributes processing across compute nodes. Question 8. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Dash is responsible for identifying which business rules must be applied to the data of a company. Our options are a data analyst, a data engineer, a data scientist. The correct option is a data analyst. A data analyst's primary skill set revolves around data acquisition, handling, and processing. Question 9. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, statements. Batch processing can output data to a file store. The correct option is yes. To the next statement, batch processing can output data to a relational database. The correct option is yes. To the last statement, batch processing can output data to a NoSQL database. The correct option is again yes. About box 1, big data solutions often use long-running batch jobs to filter, aggregate, and otherwise prepare the data for analysis. Usually, these jobs involve reading source files from scalable storage, processing them, and writing the output to new files in scalable storage. About box 3, batch processing can have output to SQL database, Hive, HBase, and Spark SQL. Question 10. You need to create an Azure storage account. Data in the account must replicate outside the Azure region automatically. Which two types of replication can you use for the storage account? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Zone redundant storage, B. Read access geo redundant storage, C. Locally redundant storage, or D. Geo redundant storage. The correct options are B and D. About option D, Azure Storage offers two options for copying your data to a secondary region, GRS and GZRS. About option B, with GRS or GZRS, the data in the secondary region isn't available for read or write access unless there is a failover to the secondary region. For read access to the secondary region, configure your storage account to use read access geo redundant storage or read access geo zone redundant storage. Question 11. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language? Our options are A. Revoke, B. Disable, C. Insert, or D. Grant. The correct option is C. Insert. Data manipulation language affect the information stored in the database. Use these statements to insert, update, and change the rows in the database. Bulk insert, delete, insert, select, update, and merge. Question 12. Drag drop. Match the types of visualizations to the appropriate descriptions. To answer, drag the appropriate visualization type from the column on the left to its description on the right. Each visualization type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. To the answer area, the visualizations provided to us are key influencer, scatter, tree map. To the answer area, a chart of colored nested rectangles that displays individual data points represented by the size and color of a relative rectangle. Here, the correct option is tree map. To the next statement, a chart that displays the major contributors of a selected result of value. Here, the correct option is key influencer. To the last statement, a chart that shows the relationship between two numerical values. Here, the correct option is scatter. About box 1, three maps are charts of colored rectangles with size representing value. They can be hierarchical with rectangles nested within the main rectangle. About box 2, a key influencer chart displays the major contributors to a selected result or value. About box 3, scatter and bubble charts display relationships between two or three quantitative measures, whether or not, in which order, etc. Question 13. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, a key/value data store is optimized for. Our options are enforcing constraints, simple lookups, table joins, or transactions. The correct option is simple lookups. About simple lookups, a key/value store associates each data value with a unique key. Most key/value stores only support simple query, insert, and delete operations. To modify a value, an application must overwrite the existing data for the entire value. In most implementations, reading or writing a single value is an atomic operation. An application can store arbitrary data as a set of values. Any schema information must be provided by the application. The key/value store simply retrieves or stores the value by key. Question 14. Drag drop. Match the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 terms to the appropriate levels in the hierarchy. To answer, drag the appropriate term from the column on the left to its level on the right. Each term may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. The terms provided to us are Azure Storage Account, File Share, Container. To the answer area, Azure Resource Group. Then term. Here the correct term is Azure Storage Account. Then term. Here the correct term is container. Then folders. Then files. About Azure Storage Account, Azure file shares are deployed into storage accounts, which are top-level objects that represent a shared pool of storage. Question 15. Drag drop. Match the types of data to the appropriate Azure data services. To answer, drag the appropriate data from the column on the left to its service on the right. Each data type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Note, each correct match is worth 1 point. The data types provided to us are image files, key/value pairs, and relationships between employees. To the answer area, Azure Blob Storage. The correct data type is image files. To the next statement, Azure Cosmos DB Gremlin API. The correct data type is relationships between employees. To the next statement, Azure Table Storage. The correct option is key/value pairs. About box 1, Azure Blob Storage is suitable for image files. Question 16. You have a SQL query that combines customer data and order data. The query includes calculated columns. You need to create a database object that would allow other users to rerun the same SQL query. What should you create? Our options are A. An index, B. a view, C. a scalar function, or D. a table. Here, the correct option is B. a view. A view acts as a filter on the underlying tables referenced in the view. The query that defines the view can be from one or more tables or from other views in the current or other databases. Question 17. What are two characteristics of real-time data processing? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Data is processed periodically. B. Low latency is expected. C. High latency is acceptable. Or D. Data is processed as it is created. The correct option is B and D. Real-time processing deals with streams of data that are captured in real time and processed with minimal latency to generate real-time reports or automated responses. Question 18. Your company recently reported sales from the third quarter. You have the chart shown in the following exhibit. Which type of analysis is shown in the fourth quarter? Our options are A. Predictive, B. Prescriptive, C. Descriptive, or D. Diagnostic. The correct option is A. Predictive. Question 19. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language? Our options are A. Revoke, B. Disable, C. Create, or D. Update. The correct option is D. Update. Question 20. Drag drop. Your company plans to load data from a customer relationship management system to a data warehouse by using an extract, load, and transform process. Where does data processing occur for each stage of the ELT process? To answer, drag the appropriate locations to the correct stages. Each location may be used once, more than once, or not at all. You may need to drag the split bar between panes or scroll to view content. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. The locations provided to us are a standalone data analysis tool, the CRM system, the data warehouse. To the answer area, extract. The correct option is the CRM system. To the next statement, load. The correct option is the data warehouse. To the last statement, transform. The correct option is the data warehouse. About box 1, data is extracted from the CRM system. About box 2, data is loaded to the data warehouse. About box 3, extract, load, and transform differs from ETL solely in where the transformation takes place. In the ELT pipeline, the transformation occurs in the target data store. Instead of using a separate transformation engine, the processing capabilities of the target data store are used to transform data. In practice, the target data store is a data warehouse using either a Hadoop cluster or a SQL dedicated pool on Azure Synapse Analytics. Question 21. Hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, creating closed caption text for audio files is an example of dash analytics. Our options are cognitive, descriptive, predictive, or prescriptive. The correct option is descriptive. Question 22. You need to modify a view in a relational database by adding a new column. Which statement should you use? Our options are A. Merge, B. Alter, C. Insert, or D. Update. The correct option is B. Alter. To modify a view means to alter a view. There are three types of relational data SQL. DDL, which is data definition language, DML, which is data manipulation language, DCL, which is data control language, and there also exists TCL, that is transactional control language. Question 23. You need to create an Azure resource to store data in Azure table storage. Which command should you run? Our options are A. AZ storage share create, B. AZ storage account create, C. AZ Cosmos DB create, or D. AZ storage container create. The correct option is B. AZ storage account create. Due to no easy storage table created in the selection, the best answer is B, create storage account. Question 24, hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, an extract, load and transform process requires, our options are, a separate transformation engine, a target data store powerful enough to transform data that is fully processed before being loaded to the target data store, or a data pipeline that includes a transformation engine. The correct option is a target data store powerful enough to transform data. With ELT, the data store used to perform the transformation is the same data store where the data is ultimately consumed. Question 25, hotspot. You plan to deploy a PostgreSQL database to Azure. Which hosting model corresponds to the available deployment options? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, PostgreSQL on Azure virtual machines. Our options are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. The correct option is infrastructure as a service. To the next statement, Azure database for PostgreSQL. Our options are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. The correct option is platform as a service. Question said virtual machines, hence infrastructure as a service. Question 26. Which Azure storage solution provides native support for POSIX compliant access control lists? Our options are A. Azure Table Storage, B. Azure Data Lake Storage, C. Azure Queue Storage, or D. Azure Files. The correct option is B. Azure Data Lake Storage. Question 27, hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, dash natively support the analysis of relationships between entities. Our options are column family database, document databases, graph databases, key value stores. The correct option is graph databases. Graph databases can efficiently perform queries across the network of nodes and edges and analyze the relationship between entities. Question 28, hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, dash physically sorts the data in a table based on the values in a specified column. Our options are a view, a clustered index, a stored procedure, a non-clustered index. The correct option is a clustered index. Question 29, hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, relational data is stored in a, our options are a file system as unstructured data, a hierarchical folder structure, a tabular form of rows and columns, comma separated value files. The correct form is a tabular form of rows and columns. Question 30, hotspot. To complete the sentence, select the appropriate option in the answer area. To the answer area, a block of code that runs in a database is called, our options are a stored procedure, a table, a view, an index. The correct option is a stored procedure. Question 31. Which storage solution supports access control lists at the file and folder level? Our options are A. Azure Data Lake Storage, B. Azure Queue Storage, C. Azure Blob Storage, or D. Azure Cosmos DB. The correct option is A. Azure Data Lake Storage. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 implements an access control model that supports both Azure role-based access control and POSIX like access control lists. Question 32. Which type of database is Azure database for Postgres SQL? Our options are A. Platform as a service, B. Infrastructure as a service, C. Microsoft SQL Server, or D. On-premises. The correct option is A. Platform as a service. Question 33. What is a characteristic of batch processing? Our options are A. The data ingested during batch processing must be processed as soon as the data is received. B. Large datasets must be split into batches of less than 1 GB before the data can be processed. C. There is a noticeable time delay between ingesting data and obtaining the data processing results. Or D. Batch processing can only process data that is structured. The correct option is option C. Question 34. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash natively support the analysis of relationships between entities. Our options are column family databases, document databases, graph databases, key value stores. The correct option is graph databases. A graph database stores two types of information: nodes and edges. Edges specify relationships between nodes. Nodes and edges can have properties that provide information about that node or edge, similar to columns in a table. Edges can also have a direction indicating the nature of the relationship. As you can see, this question is here again, which means it's quite an important one. So keep this one in mind while doing your preparation. To the next question. Question 35. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, in a relational database, each row in a table has, our options are a different set of columns, a key value pair, the same set of columns, unstructured data. The correct option is the same set of columns. The same set of columns. In relational databases, a row is a data record within a table. Each row, which represents a complete record of specific item data, holds different data within the same structure. A row is occasionally referred to as a tuple. Question 36. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, a key value data store is optimized for. Our options are enforcing constraints, simple lookups, table joins. The correct option is simple lookups. A key value store associates each data value with a unique key. Key value stores are highly optimized for applications performing simple lookups, but are less suitable if you need to query data across different key value stores. Key value stores are also not optimized for querying by value. A single key value store can be extremely scalable, as the data store can easily distribute data across multiple nodes on separate machines. If you have noted, this question has occurred more than once. The questions repeating themselves are important, and you must keep them in your mind while preparing for your exams. Question 37. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, in an infrastructure as a service instance of Microsoft SQL Server on Azure, you manage the dash that hosts SQL Server. Our options are Elastic Pool, MySQL Server, Postgres SQL Server, or virtual machine. The correct option is virtual machine. SQL Server on Azure Virtual Machine falls into the industry category Infrastructure as a Service and allows you to run SQL Server inside a fully managed virtual machine in Azure. The most significant difference from SQL database and SQL managed instance is that SQL Server on Azure virtual machines allows full control over the database engine. You can choose when to start maintenance or patching, change the recovery model to simple or bulk logged, pause or start the service when needed, and you can fully customize the SQL Server database engine. With this additional control comes the added responsibility to manage the virtual machine. Question 38. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. A JSON document is an example of. Our options are graph data, relational data, semi-structured data, or unstructured data. The correct option is semi-structured data. Semi-structured data is the bridge between structured and unstructured data. It does not have a predefined data model and is more complex than structured data, yet easier to store than unstructured data. Question 39. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, varying fields for each entity in a JSON document is an example of. Our options are relational data, semi-structured data, structured data, or unstructured data. The correct answer is again semi-structured data. For some semi-structured data formats, for example JSON, data sets are frequently a simple concatenation of multiple documents. Question 40. Which property of transactional workload guarantees that each transaction is treated as a single unit that either succeeds completely or fails completely? Our options are A. Atomicity, B. Isolation, C. Durability, or D. Consistency. The correct option is A. Atomicity. The purpose of making transactions atomic is to prevent different transactions from interfering with one another. This can only happen if more than one user's process is trying to access the database at the same time, as when a server allows several clients to use it concurrently. The simplest way to enforce atomicity is for the DBMS to refuse to start any transaction until the previous one has committed.